The NCAA March Madness tournaments concluded last week in its first bubble experience due to the pandemic. The men's and women's tournaments proved to be very exciting. Megan Carroll has the story.
The 2021 March Madness tournament concluded this past Monday, April 5th, with Baylor taking home the trophy for the men's tournament in Indianapolis and Stanford taking home the trophy for the women's in San Antonio, Texas. This came after the NCAA's first experience with a bubble tournament.
I thought it was definitely a really unique experience because that's obviously probably the first sporting event that I've been to since COVID. My last experience before that was like for the Big Ten championship a couple years back, and just the contrast between that and then the basketball game was very surprising, honestly, like walking through some of the corridors and just being empty. But I thought that they did a good job with spacing everyone out with all the seating and all the precautions. While still giving fans the opportunity to enjoy the game. Like if like a shot got blocked or something like that, you could still hear the fans, which was nice because it's much better than like when it was like super quiet during some of the games, like during the regular season.
During March Madness, however, they became an issue with the NCAA giving the men a whole weight room for their practices while only giving the women a giant empty space with just free weights and yoga mats. Eventually, the NCAA did give the women more benches and workout machines to use for their practices, but the inequality became an ongoing issue for the NCAA.
After a crazy season with everything with COVID, the players are getting a much-deserved break until their 2021-2022 season. We can say now that the players gave basketball fans a great March Madness experience with all the great games we got to witness. I'm Megan Carroll for BuckeyeTV.
The Buckeye football team will host its spring game this Saturday at noon, and head coach Ryan Day has held spring practices the last few weeks to ready his team. Here's Jacob Benj with the latest regarding Ohio State's spring practices.
I'm Jacob Benj with BuckeyeTV, and clear skies and warmer temperatures mean spring is here on campus. The Buckeyes football team has begun spring practices in advance of the spring game on April 17th, and head coach Ryan Day touched on some of the differences in spring practice this year compared to a normal year. During the scrimmage April 2nd, Ryan Day said he saw flashes of good things.
That the running backs ran really hard. That's what I saw. I thought at times the D-line really came off the ball and created some sacks on third down. So there was some good things out there.
Perhaps the biggest question for the Buckeyes next season is who replaces Justin Fields at quarterback between sophomores Jack Miller and C.J. Stroud and freshman Kyle McCord.
A lot of deep breaths, but they're doing good. They're grinding at it. They want to get better. They have the right attitude. And I'm excited about all their futures.
Senior tight end Jeremy Ruckert announced his return to Ohio State in January.
I mean, I knew I had more to give to this team and this university, so I definitely wanted to come back. And I think the decision to come back is only just going to help me, the team, and everybody else.
On defense, the Buckeyes in the secondary want to revitalize the best in America mindset.
And so I think that's been a big focus for us is just mindset and culture. And I think it's translating. And I think we've seen a lot of improvement top to bottom, and it's really exciting to see.
So we'll see how we come off of this weekend. But yeah, we'd definitely like to do something like we did today, again, before the spring game.
As Day, Rucker, and Williamson alluded to, the Buckeyes still have plenty of summer months to continue to work out and improve before their season opening game at Minnesota, September 2nd. I'm Jacob Benj with BuckeyeTV.
With the spring game taking place this weekend, one aspect of a typical football game that will be returning is the halftime show. Patrick Ronimus met with the head director and some of the members to discuss the halftime performance.
The OSU spring game is quickly approaching, and the spring athletic band will be making an appearance during the halftime.
Through the diligent work of a lot of people in our athletic department and in our band department, certainly the band will be performing at halftime at the spring game.
What were the practices like?
When the weather started warming up, we started working on a 2 days a week schedule where we did music for one of the days. On the next day, we did more of like a fundamentals plus full band rehearsal.
What can the fans expect?
It's going to be a very fun show. So we're starting with the Wizard of Oz and then The Wiz and Wicked. I'm doing music from all three. And I definitely think when Alphaba flies her broom across the field, that's going to be a really big one.
How are the members taking this news?
I was super excited because last year my debut got cut short by COVID. So this is like the first time I'll get to march in Ohio Stadium, and I'm super excited to just be surrounded by some of my friends and then just with a crowd of any kind. I'm just very honored that we get to be the ones to take that first step.
You know, I had the season with the marching band as the assistant drum major, but this will actually be my first performance in Ohio Stadium with a crowd watching, where it's not just performing for a video camera. So it's something that I'm very excited for, and I feel absolutely blessed to get to do this.
We're just fortunate enough to be able to be back in the stadium on a football game day. And make no mistake about it, the spring game at Ohio State is a football game day. We are thrilled to be putting the band back on the field at halftime where it belongs.
And now,
Reporting for Buckeye TV, I'm Patrick Ronimus.
The Columbus Blue Jackets play today against the Dallas Stars at 8:30 in the American Airlines Center. This is the final game before the All-Star break for both teams. Dallas has defeated the Blue Jackets 12 times to date and gone undefeated against the team for all 6 games they've met at home. Columbus has the fewest road wins in the NHL this season with only 3 under their belt. Meanwhile, the Stars are on a 3-game winning streak. Let's go Jackets.
Coming up after the break, students are wondering when they will receive their vaccines, and when they do, what will a post-pandemic world look like? Stay tuned.